Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling coherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And I continue with the Outer Worlds Blind. Now, seeing how I have the power conduit, I will finally be able to leave. So, let's do that.
Captain, I have detected that Edgewater's power supply is now optimal. I applaud your willingness to invest your time in the local community. What can I do for you, Captain?
I've installed the power regulator.
All systems are operating within acceptable parameters. I am prepared to bring the Unreliable into low-altitude orbit. This should prove an adequate test of our flight capabilities.
Yes, let's get out of here.
We have received a communication request from Dr. Phineas Welles.
Good. I've been waiting to hear from him.
Aha, there you are. Hale and hearty, and captain of your own ship. I see you're putting the Unreliable to good use. Shame about her former captain. Horrible way to die. How are you feeling, by the way? I lost track of you in that cave back there. Experiencing any, unnatural drippage? Perfectly normal side effect of thawing, I assure you.
I've been feeling a little lightheaded. Also, I can slow down time.
Oh, that, yes, that's probably permanent. I wouldn't worry about it, though. I'm sure you're fine. What you saw in Emerald Vale is happening all across the colony. Food shortages, lack of supplies, and basic necessities. We're dying. The chairman, the minister, and all their lackeys on the board are to blame. The Hope has some of the brightest minds Earth ever sent us. If we can revive the Hope's colonists, they can help us undo the board's mistakes. They can help us set things right. You need to get to Stellar Bay on Monarch. I have contacts there. They'll help me, help us, find the chemicals to revive your fellow colonists. Gladys Kelly, lovely woman, runs a cozy little black marketing outfit on the Groundbreaker. She can get you a nav key to land on Stellar Bay.
Why do I need a nav key to land on a planet?
Strictly speaking, Monarch is a moon, terraformed badly, and almost completely lawless. You'll love it. Captains don't fly their own ships, you see. Your navigation terminal handles the, navigation. Think of a nav key as a set of flight instructions. The board's been confiscating nav keys for Stellar Bay, so we must rely on unconventional means of acquisition. Hence, Miss Gladys Kelly.
Can't I land somewhere outside Stellar Bay?
In theory, I suppose you could land your ship in Cascadia, and in theory, I suppose you might survive the experience. Cascadia is utterly seething with dangerous, highly aggressive creatures, more than capable of tearing you limb from limb. You'd have to be a lunatic to land in Cascadia, and I'm reasonably certain I tested your brain for incipient signs of insanity. Trust me, talk to Gladys Kelly.
About this Gladys person, how do I know I can trust her?
Gladys and I have been doing business for years. Her smuggling credentials are unimpeachable. If anyone can get you a key to Monarch, it's her.
I don't like the idea of working with a criminal. To be honest, in this particular case, I hate the corporations much more than I hate whoever opposes them, and smuggling is a non-violent crime, so fine, I'll go have a word with her.
Excellent. I'll send her a wireless. Let her know you're coming. By the way, I gave Captain Hawthorne a disguise apparatus of my own design, cutting-edge technology, years ahead of its time. I call it the holographic shroud. I'm sure it will prove remarkably useful to you. You'll find it in the captain's quarters.
I'll put it... You want to explain what it is?
Marvelous device. I'm quite proud of myself. The shroud changes the user's appearance to mimic that of another. It has limits. First-generation technology, you see, but promising. Exciting to see it in use at last. Very simply, the holographic shroud uses biometric information contained on standard identity cartridges to generate a holographic projection around you.
You mentioned this thing has limitations?
Only stands up to a casual scrutiny. Use it too long, bound to flicker, blur, something like that. Movement makes it more likely. Best used in moderation. When you see guards in your path you can't sneak past, for example. Maintain your distance. Act normal. No running, no jumping. Don't draw their attention. If they pay attention, they're more likely to notice flaws in the hologram.
Well, I'll put it to good use, thanks. Couldn't I just steal a uniform or something?
A change of clothes. What is this? Some old spy serial? What inattentive and brainless guard would be fooled by such a shabby disguise? The holographic shroud masks not only your clothes, but your face and fingerprints. It modulates your voice and sweetens your breath.
How the hell does a hologram sweeten my breath?
Science, that's how.
I'll put it to good use, thanks.
Excellent. I'll contact you once you've found a way to get to Stellar Bay. If you have any questions, come see me in my lab. And remember, don't trust the board. They'll try to win you over with promises of wealth and power, but it's a lie. The board's only interested in filling their own pockets. If we don't put a stop to them, they're going to run this colony to the ground.
Transmission ended. If you are ready to depart, please select a destination on your navigation terminal.
Got it. Okay, so navigation terminal is right here. I'll go to my quarters. Adelaide's deserters dreamed of an independent life without board oversight. You taught them an important lesson. Never dream. I don't know if that's what
I like what you've done with the place. Kitschy collectibles are such a human inclination.
I don't know if that's what I thought. What I taught them, given that she's currently running the colony. Projects a disguise on you and your companions that give you access to restricted areas, provided you have the correct ID cartridge for that area. Restricted areas are off limits to unauthorized personnel and otherwise result in being attacked inside. Oh, I still have a concussion. I think I'll take this. 25% time dilation meter max. Will that remove my concussion? It will. What's that? And there is no response from this unit. A serial number is etched in the chassis that includes the letter Sam. I can ask Ada about it.
Welcome back, Captain. How can I be of assistance?
Know anything about the automechanical gathering dust in the janitor's closet?
The unit is a cleaning SAM. Hawthorne brought it on board some cycles ago, I'm sure with the intent to modify it, but I've never seen it up and running. Alex likely recorded progress notes detailing his efforts to modify SAM. If you check the terminal in your captain's quarters, we may be able to determine what work remains in order for SAM to properly operate.
Alright. I'd like to learn more about the colony.
What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Phineas's orbital lab.
Ah, yes. As Dr. Welles is a wanted outlaw, he built his laboratory into an asteroid. Orbital destinations can be challenging to land on. His more so than most.
What do you know about him? Why is that?
The outlaw scientist known as Dr. Phineas Welles has taken a measure of precautions to make the lab undetectable to those hunting him. Even knowing the location, my systems resist my orders to go where I instruct them.
What do you know about him?
There is a bounty on his head, one with a markedly high reward amount. Shall I engage the laser weapon system?
No, do not do that.
A sensible choice, as we do not have any laser weapons.
Alright.
Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
The groundbreaker.
We're cleared to dock with the groundbreaker if that's your desired destination. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid. The Mardettes take their docking laws quite seriously.
You can take care of that. Well, give me the spiel for the groundbreaker.
The groundbreaker was Halcyon's original colony ship. It has since been repurposed as a service station in the Lagrange point of the system. Freighters often deliver or pick up goods from the groundbreaker en route to other destinations. The city ship hosts an array of cargo bays, factories, housing sections, and more. Many of Halcyon's companies maintain office spaces with stationed representatives in what is considered a truly neutral territory within the system. If we're going there, please be sure all docking forms have been filed in triplicate and fees have been paid.
You can take care of that for us, right?
I can, yes. Let me add that to my list of 1,435,498 tasks I am simultaneously executing in order to run our ship.
Great, thanks.
You are more than welcome, Captain. Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Terra 2.
Where in Terra 2?
Oh, so that's where I've been. Emerald Vale in Edgewater.
Edgewater is the sparkling county seat of Emerald Vale, or it was when first built. Since then, neglect and time have worn away her shiny veneer. The town is near the coordinates where Captain Hawthorne died. It would not be unfortunate if something, like say a plague, were to wipe Emerald Vale from the face of the planet.
Interesting. So she was actually fond of the captain, it seems. What do you think of the townspeople?
You mean the ones who did not answer my distress call with medical assistance, but instead came to issue my injured captain a parking ticket? I'm sure they are wonderful humans who don't deserve to be wiped out by starvation or a devastating plague.
How is Edgewater faring since we left?
Since you diverted power to Edgewater, the botanical lab shut down, and the deserters were forced to return to town. Meanwhile, the cannery's output increased, enabling the town's population to prosper. Thank you for nothing, Captain.
What would you do? What would you have me do? Kill everyone?
I cannot say. First, I need to adjust my memory interpretation sensors, but I think my answer is yes.
Well, that's pretty dark. Too dark for me.
Of course. What part of the colony would you like to discuss?
Monarch.
Where in Monarch?
Stellar Bay.
Ah, Monarch. The armpit of the Halcyon system. Her last functioning port town is Stellar Bay. Well, that is if you don't count Sublight's Smuggler's Port at Fallbrook.
Smuggler's Port?
It's Sublight run for the purpose of shipping contraband, and before you ask, I don't know the coordinates, so I can't talk us there.
Why is the Monarch being blockaded?
I believe it has something to do with the planet being an uninhabitable wilderness, and a lawless land with no corporate presence. You may wish to survey the residents in Stellar Bay for additional data points. Of course, what part of the colony would you like to discuss? Where in Monarch?
Cascadia.
Warning. All colonists are urged to reconsider travel to Cascadia due to infestation of mantisaurs and risk of indefinite detention or death.
Sounds dangerous.
This is one of those times where you say one word but really mean another, isn't it? I suppose you would find an environment like this fun.
Any people live there aside from marauders?
There are no people aside from marauders in Cascadia. There is only death.
What's the local report?
The local report is that you will very likely die if you leave Cascadia's landing pad. How can I be of assistance?
Got a minute to talk?
I have lots of minutes. Many minutes. Unlimited minutes, perhaps. Providing an adequate power source, I can function indefinitely.
Tell me about Captain Hawthorne.
I require a captain to pilot the ship. Without an identified captain or crew, I serve no purpose. As you may be aware, Captain Alex Hawthorne was a smuggler of some repute. I failed to predict the likely outcome of his reckless behavioral patterns. I should have predicted that. In our travels together, Alex liked to pass time by, as he called it, tinkering to improve my design.
Have there been other captains of the ship?
If you mean, was Captain Hawthorne my first? Yes, he was. How can I be of assistance?
I'm in mood for some entertainment.
Certainly, Captain. What would you like to hear?
Play my favorite song?
Now playing a Spacer's Choice advertisement jingle.
It's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
That's not my favorite song.
Everyone in Halcyon is contractually obligated to label this or another board-certified jingle their favorite song.
Tell me a joke then.
My violence inhibitors are a joke. No, really. I only keep them enabled because of how funny they are. As you wish, Captain. I must comply with all direct orders. May luck be with you. Of course, as I am sure you are aware, luck does not exist. But it seems to comfort humans to believe they possess good quantities of it.
Do not forget, You have found a discarded sanitation and maintenance automechanical in Emerald's Vale scrap heap during your last job. It should be not be too difficult to get it up and running. With a few modifications, I can envision a combat-capable variant. Some might say a clean, mean killing machine. Should be fun. Removal of factory standard part Suit Steeper was successful. Delivery of combat-modified replacement part Acid Steeper has been delayed. Progress setback is estimated now to be a solid 3 months. Not like I have more pressing matters to attend to, but I do. I'm giving up hope on the delivery. The part is lost in transit, and it's not turning up anytime soon. But good news. I heard that a fellow who knows a gal who knows the broker who overcharged me for the information regarding the location of an acid steeper I can filch. The part was sent to an old storage facility in Roseway. I sure never thought I'd go back to that pit. Good thing Auntie abandoned it years ago. I'll pick it up following the next pit stop back to Emerald Vale. Welles wants me to chaperone some person of interest. Details to come later. Shrink Ray. Remember this later. No, better, Ada, remind me weekly to check this log until I tell you to stop. Yes, I mean continually. No, Ada, not if I'm dead. Why would you ask me? Why would you even ask me that? Back to my point. I saw in actuality with my own 2 eyes a sublimely powerful weapon in Welles' lab, just sitting there for the taking, if the grey hair were to look away or forget about it maybe, or if I had asked a smidgen more nicely. He called it a shrink ray, but wouldn't let me test the claim after I lost my temper. Said he was inspired to create things by the achievement of other scientists who dared to push the boundaries of human knowledge and decency laws. I had heard rumors of fantastical weapons like this one, weapons that push the boundaries of the mind and the science cutting edge, but I figured they were just stories, to be honest. Laying eyes on Welles' shrink ray firsthand is enough to make a fellow wonder if there's more to the rumors, more to be had. The last time I got sloshed, was imbibing at the Lost Hope on the Groundbreaker. Look, Udom was really free with the drinks. He seems like an okay fellow. I shamelessly but subtly eavesdropped on 2 Mardettes, yammering on about a mad scientist some years back who had claimed he had made a huge discovery that would change the fate of the colony. Like none of us have ever heard that one before. But here is the good part. The Mardet said that the mad scientist kept yelling about the hammer's power, or something similar, a strange weapon with a special power created by a crazy lab coat. Sure fits the bill. It could be another one of the weapons that inspired Welles. Black market leads. Why won't Welles just give up the shrink ray to me? Blast him to the depths of the labyrinth on Tartarus and back. Let this record show, I did apologize for shouting him down 5 times, but architects be damned, it's just sitting there neglected and gathering dust. I should have commandeered it and thanked him without asking permission, or breaking expensive equipment when he said it wasn't ready yet, and then even if it were, he couldn't entrust it to someone like me. What does that even mean, I ask? That I am not trustworthy enough? That I'd use it to wipe out the good hard-working folks of the colony like some side of a moralless psycho? I'll admit to maintaining some questionable associations, but I followed a strict code of me, myself, and mine. What's not to respect in that? Exactly. Now I have to wait until Welles forgets, or thinks that he has misplaced it. In the meantime, I have been tracking now additional rumors pertaining to others of those science weapons throughout Halcyon. If gossip holds true, my next step will be to check with the black market merchants on Groundbreaker and in Fallbrook. Wingman Bedford, thank you. I forgot to mention in my previous message, silly me, I mailed you a copy of my favorite cereal. The Space Adventures of Singularity Steel. It's about a dashing space pirate with a heart of steel. Not exactly board approved, so don't go showing it around to your spacer buddies. I hope it will amuse you while you're out adventuring. Any similarities to a certain someone are entirely intentional. Udom. Okay, so he was very frequently getting messages from that Udom guy. Dearest Alex, I can't tell you how pleased I am to hear from you. Your message was hilarious. I'm delighted by your sense of humor and the tale of your hijinks. I hope your terminal will cooperate for the foreseeable future. By the by, I was scraping Groundbreaker's comms network for tasty little tidbits, and I noticed you declined the dock at Edgewater's landing pad and instead touched down in the wilderness. You ragged individualist, you. I only pray that that idiot Thompson wasn't giving you any trouble. Anyway, I hope your meeting down on Terra 2 proves fruitful, and I look forward to corresponding with greater regularity. Your best friend, Udom. Alex, I don't know where you were raised, but I'd hazard a guess it might have been a barn, because anyone with even a modicum of decent rearing would know it's unforgivably rude to ignore the ardent, sincere messages of one's friends. Best, Udom, please respond. Dear Alex, hello. I hope this finds you well. It was a pleasure to see you in my office again last week. Once again, I am terribly sorry for this impounding mix-up. How could it have happened a second time? Terminals these days, I swear, dreadfully unreliable, just like your ship. I hope you've given some thought to the thing that we discussed. You know about the Welles fellow? I am so sorry to press, but I have the strangest tickling feeling that you really do know him, and if you could just tell me where he is, well, it would be marvelous for our friendship, wouldn't it? Looking forward to seeing you again, Wingman. Your dear friend, Udom. Dear Alex, hello, Udom here, Udom Bedford. We met when I accidentally impounded your ship. My silly fat fingers embarrassing me once again. I hope that this wasn't too terribly inconvenient for you. It was such a pleasure for me, and I tremendously appreciate your forbearance in not throttling me. You really are quite a gentleman. If you're ever in the Groundbreaker's airspace, well, space, please don't hesitate to look me up. The Lost Hope serves Space Spectrum vodka. Perhaps you could try every color? You know, really tie one on. Let me know. Your new friend. No subject to Bedford. Look, there's no call for shouting. My terminal was busted. Had a few too many and might have knocked it off the desk. You know how it is. Sometimes you just gotta cut loose. I'm not telling you where Welles is, so lay off. Buy me a drink at the Last Hope next time I'm in, and I might forgive you. A photo of Parvati's father, a stern older man with warm eyes. First wrench Dad ever gave me. She's been my friend ever since. This is not a petunia. Petunia the plant. The Modern Steel Wrench and You. This book is heavily dodged with doodles in the margins. Bunched up toolbox full of modified tools with unique mechanical usages. Digging around in here would be an easy way to lose a finger to a sawtooth blade. Yeah, but where is Parvati herself? If she's not here. Doctrinal studies of equity and equations. These textbooks have been out of print for almost half a century. The margins are filled with scribble notes, and many passages have been underlined. Some pages have come loose, the glue now yellowed and cracked along the spines. The Journal of Maximilian de Soto. The scribblings on these journal pages are utterly illegible to anyone except Vicar Maximilian de Soto. Index of Banned Literature. Various qualifying considerations, principal rules of restrictive management, morals and maxims of banning unethical literature, proof of the grand architect and the predestination, a refutation of the titles listed here within. Consequences, the mind and the will of a man led astray, official list of banned titles, prerequisites for advancing the investigation, outing and penalizing of offenders. OSI anointment vial seems suspiciously like iceberg aged whiskey. Toastball trading cards in mint condition. Most of those cards represent players from the Hephaestus Hammers and the Tilebackers. The Art and Science of Toastball, impossible to put down. Order of Scientific Inquiry, Office of Literature. This endorsement has been approved. Auntie Cleo's Darlings. Signed by Seymour Whitlock, who held the record for most on-the-field fatalities for 3 consecutive seasons. Wait, so what exactly is Toastball? If people are literally dying during that game.
I could spend hours reflecting on the secret workings of the universe. Little else in this colony offers such a relaxing pastime. So, tell me what's on your mind. I excel at confessional listening.
Any idea where we can find someone who speaks French in this colony?
I've been thinking on that. There's a former infamous philosopher scholar who fled Terra 2 some years ago. He's an expert on Bakonu. He's also who told me of the journal's presence in Emerald Vale. If anyone in this colony could translate that book, it would be him.
A former what now?
You caught me. Listen, the OSI frowns on fraternization with philosophists. I'd like to keep my associations with our scholar friend quiet.
Well, that seems like a good lead, but how do we find him?
That's a good question. We should start on the Groundbreaker. It's where I'd go if I wanted to get off Terra 2. Great place to pick up a ride to Hephaestus, Scylla, even Monarch. All I need is access to a data cartridge from the security terminal. Their easily hackable system keeps a registry of all crew manifests for both arrivals and departures.
How is that a simple vicar happens to be such a highly skilled hacker?
Before I transferred to Edgewater, I had a wealth of time to develop certain secular skills during my years serving a particular penitentiary flock. I meditated, led sermons, provided guidance to the inmates as needed, of course. I also played prison yard tossball and taught myself a bit about computronic security systems.
Sounds good. Let's go.
Thank you, Captain. I find myself marveling at the complex simplicity of the Fibonacci spiral. I'm sure you know what that's like. Something vexing you, Captain?
Remind me, what are your thoughts on the philosophists?
Philosophism's a false religion that stands in contradiction to almost everything we know to be true. They believe all is chaos, in stark contrast to OSI's belief in the plan. But most of the philosophist perversion of Bakonu's thoughts came more than a century after his death.
I'd like to know something about those I'm flying with. What's your story?
Nothing too out of the ordinary. Just your run-of-the-mill vicar with a violently enthusiastic disposition.
Violently enthusiastic?
That's what my parents called it. I grew up in a pit of a town, much like Edgewater. I was destined to be a laborer like my parents, but I was infected early with a need to solve the equation. My passion didn't sit well with them.
Were they not religious?
On the contrary. They internalized the precepts of scientism like no one I've ever known. They had a pure faith, a faith that brought joy to them regardless of the situation. I envied that. I wanted that peace. I thought if I became a vicar, I could find it. Or at the very least, find out why I lacked it.
But weren't they proud of you when you became a vicar at least?
They thought I was fighting the plan, should have accepted my lot. Some people pursue the clergy for power, prestige, but that was not me.
What's this plan you keep talking about?
The simple version is this. The force which we call the Grand Architect created the universal equation that underlies and defines everything in the universe. Everything flows from the equation, or in layman's terms, the grand plan. Is the Grand Architect a consciousness? A natural force? Did it create the equation on purpose? The answers to these questions don't really matter. The equation, the plan, is all that matters. Contentment is found by accepting one's role in the plan.
Besides the Grand Architect and the plan, what else do you believe?
Scientism, as its name implies, believes that nature abhors equality. The strong survive, and the weak perish for the betterment of the whole. And reason, not emotion, is the seat of all morality. Wisdom means accepting the vicissitudes of life with grace and dignity.
First of all, I'm not even sure how one flows from the other. To be honest, I am perfectly capable of explaining how you can come to how you can establish a system of morality that's wisdom-based and still espouses the need to help people who are in need. That seems like a cruel belief system.
I prefer to think of it as looking at reality for what it truly is, not how we'd like it to be. Yes?
Seems quite trusting of you to just sign on without knowing anything about me.
I have run headlong into too many walls in my pursuit of the truth. This book is my last hope, and you were my only hope of getting it translated.
What if the book doesn't have the answers you're looking for?
I honestly don't know what I'd do. This quest has consumed me for the better part of my life. I fear there's nothing else left to me. What about you? What's your story?
I was a colonist on the Hope. A scientist named Welles saved me.
And how did he do that?
Well, he stole my body from the Hope at the edge of the colony and thawed me out.
Well, you do seem different than every other colonist. Let's pretend for the moment I believe you. What are you going to do now?
I'm helping him recover more of the chemicals needed to save the rest of the colonists.
That seems a dangerous proposition. Why risk your life now that it's been returned to you?
Well, just because it's the right thing to do. Those other people, there are hundreds, thousands of people just left in suspended animation. That's pretty unfair, I feel like. They have been promised a new life in space, and instead they have been dumped, and everyone, pretends to have forgotten about them, just because it's the right thing to do.
A commendable attitude.
Engine power output is nominal.
Yeah, so this is my hidey spot now. I was looking for a place that was quiet. I figured the kitchen would be louder than the hold, so here I am. Cozy like, ain't it?
What do you think of the ship?
It's in pretty good shape considering how hard Mr. Hawthorne ran it. It's a Yakita LHA 120, A2 model, I'm pretty sure. The Block 2 design scooshed in extra cargo space but didn't change the stock engines. Probably a touch underpowered, huh?
Accurate in all particulars. I conclude you are Edgewater's board-certified mechanic.
Apparently Ada's the one who actually flies the ship.
Fly-by-wire's pretty normal. Or at least ways that's what I read in the trades. I've never been on a real ship before. Hello! I am not a board-certified mechanic, but my dad was. He taught me all he knew. Do you understand?
Speech recognition is one of the many skills I have been programmed to simulate.
You're not simulating it, you're doing it! I asked a question and you answered it.
I am gratified you consider this facsimile convincing.
What do you think, Parvati? Is it safe to fly now that we have the regulator?
I don't see any holes in the hull. I'll take a good squint at her, make sure everything's tip-top. But I think we're cooking with plasma torches. You can do that, you know. My dad taught me how to make grilled cheese sandwiches with a plasma torch.
Did you learn your trade from your father? It sounded like it when you talked to Reed.
Mostly, yeah. I lived in the maintenance office near all my life. Mr. Thompson never let me forget how funny that was.
You worked besides your father your whole life?
Except for my schooling years, I was always beside him. Or tied to him. He used to carry me about in a sling when I was real little. When I got older, he set me to sorting tools and parts while he worked. Later, he taught me simple fixes like busted crate latches.
Did your dad ever work on any spaceships?
Not on the regular. Once in a great long while, a Saltuna boat would break down on the pad. He'd always bring me along for those. Mostly, he did the same as me. Kept Bess, the cannery, running. Turned loaders, plumbing and electricity, some plastering. I never got the hang of that.
I don't see the humor in what you said.
He meant funny as in odd. It's not normal for anyone to do as their parents. You take a vocational test. That decides your schooling and your career. When I tested out for maintenance, everyone figured it was on account of my dad. They were real unhappy with us.
Why would people be unhappy about you getting a maintenance job?
Because they were hoping their own kid would get the job and get sent back to Edgewater. When folk go away for schooling, they don't get back to where they begun. Not usually. You go straight to your first job, wherever the company's got an opening.
That's pretty cruel.
Well, it ain't exactly cruel to have the promise of a paying job. And that's all it is. You go where the company needs you. Where your skills do the most good.
One aptitude test determines your whole life.
Well, they're powerful good tests. They rattled off this whole list of names who'd worked on them, with fancy bits hanging off them. Doctors and esquires and the thirds. Even if you don't believe they actually catch what everybody's best at, everybody's got to take them. So at least it's fair-ish.
But you're actually good at this and you enjoy it.
Well, I'm good at making things work the way they ought. Not so much at doing such to somebody else's schedule. There's times I'm working deep in the guts of a loader, getting it all running perfect. Then I look up to see it's tomorrow and I've blown another deadline. Anyhow, I was happy to get back home. I didn't care much for schooling.
Didn't like your classes?
There were a whole lot of reading, and not nearly enough doing. Like, before they'd issue you a wrench, they wanted an essay on the design of different wrenches. Then there'd be quizzes on company regulations for storage and maintenance of wrenches.
What did you do in your time off?
As soon as I got permission, I spent all my time in the machine shop. They had all manner of parts, but they didn't want me using them, so I had to sneak them sometimes. I even slept in there. Had a hammock tied up in the rafters. Before I left, I installed a little skylight for myself, so I could see the stars.
You didn't have your own room? That's it? You never spent time with friends?
Can't say I had many. Mostly I kept to myself. Going to the community center to hear music, be in a crowd with people knocking into you. It all just made me want to run away. When my roommates tried to talk, I'd get so nervous I'd be drenched in sweat. It was easier for everybody when I stayed off on my own. I doubt any of them remember me now.
After school, you moved straight back to Edgewater?
Yep, nothing much had changed. Everything was a little grayer, a little dirtier. Dad met me at the shuttle and gave me a big ol' hug. I noticed straight away that he was moving slower and stiffer. He made a little grunt when I squeezed.
Did you get much time with him after you got back from school?
About a year. I tried to do more of the work so he could rest. His heart gave him pains. Dad never said that he loved me, you know? I knew on account of him showing it. How he'd stay up late to help with my projects or listen to my fretting. Oh gosh, look at the time. Sorry to bend your ear so long. And I got so much to do before this ship's in decent shape.
Alright.
I could probably spend years fixing this boat, stem to stern.
Okay. So I think I can go... Can I actually go to Phineas's lab?
No.
Welcome to the system,
Arriving at Phineas's top secret orbital lab. We'll be here, Captain. Or will we? Haha. Just a little joke for you.
Oh, I can take two companions with me? Alright.
Hello? Can you hear me? Does this work? Oh, damn it! Blast, that's loud.
Okay, what's your skills? Intimidate, hack, and science. And you have a rifle of some description. Oh, a shotgun. Alright, you can stay with that. Empty tubes. Inspect immediately before signing for merchandise. It is your responsibility to note any damage on all copies of the freight bill. Contents: 2 live cysty pigs, various loose cysts. Expected side effect of shipping. Finn, no idea what you need all of those damn things for, but the supplier is hiking up prices. Expect more increases in the future. Before you ask, there's no rebate for order in bulk. Next delivery in 4 weeks unless I hear otherwise in 3. 3, you hear? You end up with pigs stacked to the rafters again. It's not my fucking problem. Looked into the flags, but no hits yet. Sent along the greeting card from our dear auntie. Don't tell me what you want it for. Don't want to know, Ilya. My dearest pain in the ass. As requested, another load of cysty pigs. Supplier gave me a bit of a hassle. I reminded him that the cysts can't breed. They can only be made with that weird gas the lab coats use. He still raised the prices. Pass it along to your buyer, I guess. You ever going to come to visit? Got a nice bottle of the 43 set aside for you. Your most favored pork provisioner, Malin. Made sure your latest batch of bottled meat didn't get eaten on the way in. Killed a pack of rats to do it. Usual charges apply. Your supplier wasn't happy. Might want to have a frank discussion with him. Nayoka. C. Suspicious about all those items you claim to need for off-world buyers. You're setting up a farm of your own, aren't you? Breeding stock. The king won't have it. The king. I'm not quite sure what he needed all of those pigs for, but maybe he will tell me.
I'm just securing my ongoing experiments. And securing myself. Mind the mess. I haven't had a visitor since... in fact, I've never had a visitor.
That pig looks seriously unhealthy. Although I guess they are called cyst pigs, but I'm not quite sure why would you deliberately breed your pigs to have like cysts on them? Obscure body in the SK system. Reminder. You spent over 4 decades in space with nothing but the technology of this little chamber keeping you alive. The rest of your fellow colonists are still trapped in similar chambers, waiting for you.
From hibernation was my greatest accomplishment. Your odds of survival were a mere 28%. Your old hibernation mask. Had to remove it, in case you were prone to vomiting.
Dehibernation experimentation nodes. Raising core temperature another 5 degrees over 1 hour. Dosage appears to be working. Slight dips from process in cysty pigs, not beyond expected boundaries. Okay, so he was using them to test the hibernation procedure. Microscopic assessment shows no sign of sudden traumatic mast cell wall collapse. Encouraging. Reminder, still need to mop up the pig. Need to get a view into the cranium to see what's going on with the neurons. Oops, hand slipped. Likely effect? Nothing important, might have numbness in the left heel. Who even needs that? Looking at the sample, evidence of hyperactive production of dopamine and norepinephrine. Curious. No evidence of entropic effects on neurons, however. Very excited. Now if only I can keep them from exploding. Raising core temperature another 5 degrees for 1 hour. Oops, forgot I had a probe in the brain. Jostled with an elbow. Subject might suffer numbness in the right earlobe. Acceptable. Feel ridiculous telling the mostly frozen slab of meat, "You're doing fine, Matthias Stone." Practicing bedside manner important, aids recovery. Curious about the neurochemical production, side effect of prolonged hibernation. Subject might experience tachypsychia, exaggerated fight-or-flight response. Checked brainwaves, found a sharp uptick in perceptive cognitive processing when I jostled the probe. Fascinating, equivalent to speed of common fly's brain. Could be useful in stressful situations. Subjective time dilation. See world moving in slow motion. Would anyone from Hope have this sort of brain damage, or is it peculiar to Matthias Stone? Can't wait to awaken more from the Hope study in detail. Is it even right to call this effect brain damage? Seems like enhancement to me. Who wouldn't want an on-call hyper-fast cognitive response? Am I envious? To expand the span of breath to an eternity? To be able just for a moment to perceive the world in all of its infinite detail? Core temperature still up, still stable. No sign of cell decay. Neurological necrosis. Beginning next 5 degrees over 1 hour cycle. I believe I do envy you, Matthias Stone. I can calculate the movement of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of men, Newton. Welcome, Phineas Welles. Have procured the services of one Captain Alex Hawthorne on the Unreliable. I hope he didn't name his ship after the quality of his services. I'll be sending my new accomplice down to Hawthorne via escape pod as soon as the revival process is complete. Hawthorne should make an agreeable companion, or at least an acceptable chaperone. Low willing, he isn't a total buffoon. Eureka! Flash-frozen organic material reverts back to its original cell structure when treated with the tincture of dimethyl sulfoxide. Rate of explosive cell death is a very respectable 6%. Bad news, difficult to acquire, limited quantities of compound likely produced by Auntie Cleo. Recently discontinued due to severe adverse reactions, must find more. Artificial stasis successfully induced in a cystipic specimen, revivification complicated, cystipic tissue returned to living state, brain tissue suffered from rapid nucleation, attempting treatment progressing, and treatment failed, brain tissue irreparably damaged by rapid onset necrosis, explosive cell death, finished cleaning the liquefied remains from laboratory floor, walls and equipment. Fresh out of Auntie Cleo's, experimenting with Spacer's Choice partially emulsified creamer substitute, finished brewing, adding 2 ounces of Spacer's Choice, atrocious, felt part of self die on the inside. Add Spacer's Choice to the list, note to self, buy more mouthwash. Have spared one of my stock of experimental cystipigs to be used as a renewable source of nourishment. Have named this lucky pig Bubbles. Giving an animal a name establishes rapport and creates a positive emotional bond. Allegedly improves the flavor of tumors? Must look into that. Excellent creatures, cystipigs. Don't know how people used to survive without these genetic wonders of porcine succulents. Slaughtering a pig for meat instead of harvesting the tumors that ripen naturally, falling off the flesh like mock apples of a tree, seems the height of barbarity. Truly a miracle of modern science. Oh, so, alright. So, okay, that's actually pretty cool. Because, sure, you technically gave them kind of cancer, but in a way that it doesn't actually hurt them. It just grows, those tumors grow on the body of the pig and then fall like fruit from a tree, and you can eat them, and then you don't have to kill the pig. That's pretty nice, I guess. Like, I am one of those people, I have sort of resigned myself to the fact that from a moral standpoint, the vegans are actually right, and I am not. Like, I eat meat because I like it, but I don't think it's moral. So, I'm very much looking forward to any kind of technology that would allow me to enjoy the taste of meat without the need for animal suffering, you know? And I would be willing to even pay more for that. Mop up the melted pig. Sending, no response. Calls undetermined. I worked it out. Explain details later. Will be difficult to reproduce. Need your help. All necessary materials should be present in Halcyon, but locations elude me. Dumped a new associate dirt site, Terra near Edgewater. They have a stake in my purpose, but trust in them is only 23% at present. They are recovering a ship. Should be along any time. Just need to know where to send them. Let me know when you get this. Eager to be done.
Careful, that's my communications
terminal. Science weapons are unique weapons that have strange and powerful effects. Science weapons damage and the strength of their effects both increase as your science skill is increased.
Aha! I see you found my portable molecular compression device, better known as a shrink ray. Find a target, point, shoot. Your target will shrink down into a manageable size, whereupon you may commence beating them to a pulp. Feel free to try it on a marauder sometime.
Sure.
Oh, thank the law. Your skin hasn't spontaneously changed color. Potential side effect of the revival process. Very rare, but you never know. Right. Welcome to my little habitation, such as it is. I've got caffeinoids, cysty bits, if you're into that sort of thing. So, welcome. Make yourself at home. My secret hideout is your secret hideout.
For what it's worth, I appreciate you pulling me out of the hope.
Not at all, my intrepid accomplice. I should thank you for tolerating my somewhat brusque manner. I only regret that I couldn't save more of your fellow settlers, what with being hunted by the board, and emptying my supply of necessary chemicals. Of course. What's on your mind?
Is there some reason you're hiding behind bulletproof glass?
Oh, it's not you. I do experiments in that room. Some of them get quite scientific. The unexpected is to be treasured, but from a safe distance. Regardless, it's quite comfortable in here, you know. I have my beans, have my caffeinoids, plenty of toilet paper.
Got a moment to talk?
Absolutely. Let's talk.
Have you met my crew yet?
No, and I've been trying very hard to avoid making eye contact.
Ah, the wanted criminal himself. Pleased to make your acquaintance.
Wait, not another word. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know who you are. Let's just enjoy our plausible deniability while it lasts, shall we? Why don't you just invite the entire colony to my secret, carefully concealed laboratory? It isn't as if I wanted privacy.
Well, you do have a point. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, I was being rude. I'm not accustomed to extending hospitality, and I've never had visitors before. For what it's worth, I am pleased that you found a crew, such as they are. You're a talented scientist after all. Our kind has always been incredibly popular.
There was something else I wanted to talk about.
What's on your mind?
I guess nothing.
Absolutely. Let's talk.
Don't you ever leave your lab?
Oh, goodness, no. I wouldn't survive 10 seconds in the blackness of the aether. Well, no, I imagine I'd last at least 12 seconds before I'd lose consciousness and die of hypoxia.
Not what I meant. Do you have any kind of life outside your work?
Life outside work? No, of course not. My life is my work. For that matter, everyone else's lives are also my work. An entire colony's worth of lives are at stake. It's up to me, up to us to set things right. To answer your question, I'd rather stay right here in my lab. There's too much work to be done. The Hope's colonists won't revive themselves, you know.
Why are you so obsessed with reviving the Hope's colonists?
Because we've lost our way. The board has a stranglehold over this colony, and we've all been conditioned into total obedience. The Hope is full of specialists, scientists, engineers, talented individuals like you, people who haven't been corrupted by the board. Unfortunately, the Hope's colonists have been frozen for decades, well past your shelf life, so to speak. No offense.
Yeah, but you revived me, so you must have solved the problem.
You begin to perceive the truth. Yes, according to the board and their narrow-minded scientists, you should be a pile of organic sludge right now. 10 years. That's how long the average human can remain in hibernation. You were frozen for decades. In theory, you never should have survived the revival process. But the conventional theories are wrong. You're living proof that it can be done. There's yet hope for the Hope. Get it?
I'm glad to hear that everyone on the Hope is depending on us.
We'll do our very best to save them all. I'd best get back to work. I can feel my last dose of caffeinoid fading.
The Groundbreaker Independent Orbital Station, in the remains of Halcyon's first colony ship, captained by Junlei Tennyson and run by the descendants of the original crew.
The Groundbreaker has approved our request for docking, Captain. You're free to disembark.
Can we talk? Hey, Captain. I heard that Groundbreaker's got a real good engineer. A lady named Junlei Tennyson?
What about her?
I was thinking that maybe I ought to meet her. If you got time to swing us by, I mean. I don't got much experience fixing actual spaceships. I bet you a can of Borston beans she could teach me all manner of stuff.
Sure, we could head over there right now.
Thanks, Captain. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. Did you want to talk about something else?
Okay, so this episode has been long enough, That's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!